Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to everyone. Today, our group from MEd Primary Mathematics Education will share with all of you our metrics and lesson plans. Our group consists of four members: Hajah Shamimi Haji Yusuf, Nur Hazalina Haji Muhammad Junaidi, Samsul Fadli Haji Mohidi, and Noreen Kirani Haji Muhammad Kincho. Our group had chosen the topic on geometry and the subtopic on triangles for the year 5. This is the matrix that our group have designed that consists of the four knowledge dimensions, that is declarative, procedural, schematic, and strategic. The followings are the technology that we use in our lesson plans according to the dimensions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Shamimi Haji Yusuf. We'll be presenting the first lesson plan today. Our topic is on geometry with the subtopic triangles, and I'll be focusing on the first unit, which is on recognizing and sketching right-angled, equilateral, and isosceles triangles. The lesson objective that should be achieved by the end of the lesson is that students should be able to recognize and sketch right-angled, equilateral, and isosceles triangles. I have listed the materials and resources as follow, and those are the several websites that I have found useful for this particular lesson. And there will be additional websites shown by my colleagues later on. The lesson development will begin with an introduction that will take about 10 minutes of class time. Here, I will explain the lesson objectives to the students so that they would know what to be achieved by the end of this lesson. I will ask students to explore their classroom settings and point out any objects that are triangular in shape. Once that is done, I will start the slides presentation showing the three main types of triangles that will be discussed throughout the lesson, as shown below. Content and learning activity will take another 20 minutes of class time. Here, each student will be provided with cutouts of triangles, and they are allowed time to explore the specific features of each different triangles on their own. Beforehand, teachers, as myself, need to ensure cutouts are of the right measurements to avoid any fallouts in the lesson. Here we'll begin engagement with students through whole class discussions, and then explanations by myself to further clarify students' conceptual understanding on triangles. The remaining 20 minutes of class time will be used for a group activity where each group will be asked to sketch one of these three types of triangles and present their work to the whole class. After that, summary and assessment will take another 10 minutes of class time to discuss with students what they have learned throughout the lesson, and to ensure whether they have understood the lesson and whether the lesson objective have been achieved. A whole class activity through selected websites, for example as shown, will be used, and follow up with an individual assessment through printout worksheets from another selected website, as well as worksheets prepared by the teacher will be given to the students. After this, I will just walk around the classroom and check students' work, and to remind students that they have to hand in their work at the end of the class. After every lesson is done, there should be a lesson evaluation where the teacher, myself, for this particular lesson will do a self-reflection on my teaching process, and then to look back at students' participation as well as their engagement through the learning process, whether it is at the satisfactory level or whether they need to participate more and to be actively involved in the lesson, and then to look at the overall presentation of the lesson, whether it needs more improvements or it is good enough for the teacher and the students. That is all from me. Do stay tuned for more interactive lesson plan prepared by my colleagues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. My name is Nur Hazalina binti Haji Muhammad Junaidi, 12M8879. I will will be presenting the second lesson plan on the subtopic that our group have chosen, that is on triangles. And for this second lesson, I will be focusing on describe the basic features of the three triangles. In this second lesson, it is about triangles for the year 5 students. The duration of this lesson is for 1 hour. For this lesson, I've listed the lesson description as well as the unit description for this particular lesson. In this lesson, the students will be learning to describe the basic features of the three triangles, namely right angle, equilateral, and isosceles triangle. The lesson objectives that should be achieved by the end of the lesson is that the students will be able to describe the basic features of each type of triangles. The materials and resources used in this lesson have been listed out as follows, and there are several websites which I found to be very useful for this particular lesson. For the introduction, the teacher will be using the following websites in order to review what the students have learned from the previous lessons on the triangles. For the main content, it will take about 20 minutes of the lesson. The teacher will relate the types of triangles according to the basic features of each triangle by referring to the following website. And here, each group had to explore the specific features of each triangle on their own. Then, each representative from each group will have to share with the whole class on how they can describe the features of the three triangles either by the sides or the angles. For the group work, the teacher can use the following website. Here, the students can use this online game to strengthen their understanding in describing the three triangles based on the features of each triangle. For the individual work, the teacher can instruct the students to go to the following website. Here, students can practice on identifying the triangles according to the features given. For the closure, the students will have a discussion about what they have learned, such as on how to identify, recognize, and describe the triangles. The teacher can conclude by asking the students to share. How will you know which features describe each type of triangles? Can you suggest where the three different triangles can be found in our real world? For the extension activity, the teacher will provide the students with written worksheets from the following website. These worksheets provide practices on describing the three triangles based on the basic features of the three triangles. These are activities that can be shared during the introduction as well as the individual and the group activity. And thank you.
This is my lesson overview, and the content is on the properties of angles in a triangle. This is my lesson description and unit description, and this is the teaching material and technology used in the lesson. For the pre-assessment, the teacher will review the steps to measure an angle using a protractor. First, the teacher demonstrates to play virtual protractor on the given website, and then direct students to play the games. This is the main stage of the lesson, that is introducing content. The teacher will state the learning objectives on the whiteboard. The teacher will show a picture of a triangular object. This step will be demonstrated by the teacher. Next, the teacher asks students to identify the vertex of the triangle. Then measure the three angles by using protractor. Then the teacher will ask students to calculate the sum of all angles in a triangle that must be equal to 180 degrees. Next, the teacher will show another picture, and this step will be demonstrated by the student to repeat the simulation that have been shown previous step. And the student will ask to calculate the sum of all angles in triangle must be equal to 180 degrees. Next, on the technology practice, the teacher will ask students to surf internet to take some pictures. Then the student paste the selected pictures into their PowerPoint. The teacher will instruct students to measure the angle of each vertex of the object. This is the sample of expectation outcomes of the student. Now, this stage is independent practice. The student will be given worksheet. For the enrichment practice, the teacher will ask students to play online game. At the end of the lesson, the teacher will restate the learning objectives.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Narin Kirani binti Haji Muhammad Kincho, 12N 8871 MEd Mathematics. This is the day 4 lesson plan on geometry, subtopic triangles, and duration for this lesson is 1 hour. For the lesson objective, the student will be able to find unknown angles in triangles. And for prerequisite knowledge, students should have learned that the sum of the three angles of any triangles is always 180 degrees. For the materials and resources, what we need are computer with internet access, projector and screen, and some website for teachers and students. For the introduction, teacher will use this website to review what the student have learned from the previous lessons of triangles. This is an interactive activity for students and teachers. In the main content, the teacher will relate the property above to set up new activity, which is to find the unknown angle from the triangle. In the group work, students will use online game to strengthen their understanding in finding the unknown angles using the following website. In this game, the student will need to work out how many degrees are in certain angles. The student will study each diagram carefully before giving the answer. They cannot measure the angles as they have not been drawn accurately. For individual work, teacher will prepare online practice for the student. The student will ask to go to this website. In this online activity, the student will try to calculate the unknown angle in a triangle given the other two angles. For the wrap-up session, as teacher concludes, ask the student to reflect and share what did you learn about finding the unknown angles of a triangle during this lesson? How will you use the property to find the unknown angles? And can you suggest where triangles are used in our real world? For the extension activity, student will be given written worksheet by following the website given. These are the activities that will be used during
this lesson. Thank you for listening.